All right, guys, welcome back to Carter Engineering and Fabrication. I'm Chad. This is week 16 of 2025 of me bringing you guys along every week for whatever projects I get into. And lately, it seems like my attention is very scattered and lots of distractions. So, I always like to say not a lot to share this week, and then I feel like every week I talk more and more. So. I actually have a lot to share this week, even though I was traveling to visit family and this past weekend was a whirlwind. The video's hitting a day later than I'd like, but I'm still going to count this as a win. I need to take a deep breath and record a calmer intro. I watched that back and it wasn't so bad, so we're just going to go with it. So this gem popped up on Marketplace and I thought this will make a really cool vertical bandsaw. I'll just scrap the base. I looked at it. It's actually really nice. So here I am, another restoration project because I can't even, Let's just get into it. So this was sketchy as hell, but I had to get this thing off, and I was trying to do it the lazy way, and the lazy way always bites me. I know better. I should have got the cherry picker out, or a pallet, or something with a little more. Anyway, I screwed it down to some 4x4s. I put a cross 4x4 in. I jacked it up roughly at its balance point. Here you see I had to ask the wife to drive the truck forward, just so I could keep a hand on it. It probably would have stayed, but this made me feel better, so. She came out and gave me a quick assist. Once we get it down to ground level, then it's not so bad to manhandle around, or person handle around if you prefer. I got a little excited and I took it apart. Got some parts that's not supposed to be in there. That actually cleaned up really nice. That's the control knob for blade tension. Quick wire wheel and a little bit of 3M Scotch-Brite pad. Here I've got the counterweight. These are, I believe, galvanized, so I think I'm just gonna DA sand these. I don't know what I wanna do here. The bearings spin pretty freely. I may just put those on as is. I don't wanna get too crazy. It's just a bandsaw. All this stuff, probably just needle scale, wire wheel, and put together. Maybe Scotch-Brite the aluminum. Went through a few DA discs, more than a few. These are cheap. I think they're Walmart brand, just because I happen to be there picking up stuff. So this surface is a little pitted, but ultimately it's gonna be fine. It's pretty neat that this thing is mostly a weldment. You see the weld bead through here? So it's a mixture of cast iron pieces like the legs, this ratchet and gear portion. But then the main frame is a weldment. So it's a pretty nice unit, honestly. Made in Michigan. So let's see if I can find a date on this thing somewhere, but as of right now, I cannot. So I don't know if Wellsaw is still in business either. We'll find out. It's gonna be a nice machine. Let's get some paint on it. Just a quick tidbit, I was able to look up the model number for my saw, and surprisingly, Wells Manufacturing that makes the Wellsaw, they make a lot of bandsaws and they have for a long time. They're out of Three Rivers, Michigan. For my serial number, which is right in this range, all of the assembly drawings, all of the parts, I'm assuming that could probably still get them. They may not be cheap, I don't know. haven't done any more than find this PDF and scroll through it, but really appears to be a well-built unit. I did look at some like used ones, and they vary from $300 to $2,000 depending on condition and use and whatever, location for sure. So definitely got a good deal. A little elbow grease. This thing's gonna clean up all right. So now I've got some time to do some more backstory. I was intending to mount this on a pedestal that a friend of mine gave me and make it a permanent vertical bandsaw. I love my quarter band with the Swag Off-Road style. It's shop built, but in that style, table and stand. And I love everything about it except it's just damned annoying to listen to. It's so loud and whiny, and it hits my ears just right that I hate turning it on. I can't turn it on without earmuffs. Anyway, I'm just whining about it at this point. But I've been looking for a horizontal bandsaw, a cheap one that I could build into a permanent vertical. Wouldn't take up much floor space, but not nearly like a freestanding one does typically. Anyway, I got this one home, and the more I look at it, the more I think this is a better horizontal bandsaw than any of my other saws. Let's destroy this one and make it a real thing, and maybe I'll turn one of my other smaller ones into a permanent vertical. So I'm back outside with the citric acid solution from a few weeks ago, kind of the cheap evaporust alternative. Not saying it's anywhere near as good, but this project let me hit the break-even point in terms of cost. Here I am mixing up about 10 gallons of solution, and in just a second you'll see me throw in a stock tank heater. This one with a timer, so that'll help. And just get this thing cooking outside. So hopefully all the bits turn out okay. These are mostly going to get painted. There's a few exposed pieces that'll get oiled, but it will function. The blade and everything, every moving part was free when it came in. Some of this is cosmetic. It's going to clean up well. It's genuinely going to be a nice looking saw. Got all the bits and bobs to put this guy back together. It's pretty clean. I DA'd the whole thing. It'll be plenty good for a Rust-Oleum restoration. I just want it to look nice. I'm gonna put a wooden cart under it with some casters. It'll add a little storage in what would normally be lost space. I've got the 110 volt VFD, and then I'm gonna put a control panel. I forgot exactly where, but shake you around a bit. Probably right here. Start, stop, jog, and then pick the handle up. That's gonna clean up nice. All right, so this is basically the vision. I had AI generate a quick image. I'm gonna try my hand at pinstriping. I'll show a screenshot in just a second, but I ordered a pinstriping brush and some enamels and some low temp reducer. So it's gonna be satin black, and I'm gonna pinstripe it in some silver, 3D print a housing with arcade buttons, and I'm really excited for how this is gonna turn out. Let's see if we can't do a little walk and talk here. So we're in the dirty room, and then I'm looking at the overhead door. And I tend to do a lot of work in this area. One, because I can open the door up and sweep the floor out. And then with the vinyl curtains, it seems like a really nice place to make a barrier. And that's why I've tried to keep all of like the sanding and the dusty stuff here, isolate the cars that are now behind me. But because of the garage door, it's noticeably dark, and I never really planned for this to be my work area. But it just happens to be a really convenient spot. I mean, minus, this car being parked here. So I'm going to run lights. Let's get my fingers in the way here. I'm gonna run some conduit across and then drop down lights no lower than 9 feet. So it'll be minimum at the doorway height. But I think that'll help light up this bench, which is also notoriously a little too dark. And then add some light over this bay where it's really needed. Swinging around here, this is the workbench I had a few days ago. And I have some, I think they're 18-inch diameter lights that I'm gonna mount underneath the wire racking. So I have 2 LEDs facing down. Probably drop some MC and a switch over here. And then I'd like to either put a power strip along the pallet rack, or at minimum, like maybe a receptacle on the pallet rack in here. Otherwise, this area is pretty decent. It's a little messy. I've got to get this stuff shuffled back around. The SSR is going to go back in this spot, but I had to, sorry if I'm making anybody dizzy, I had to do a little shuffling. So, all right, let's go back to it. I know they make hanging shop lights, but this was kind of fun and I enjoy building silly things. So these are 7-inch flush mount LEDs. Pretty inexpensive. I think they're about $8 a piece. These are aluminum red pans that I painted black. There's one with the light installed, and then the cord grip, and then this is like a woven cloth covered 16 gauge, 18 gauge wire, 18 gauge wire. So these will become hanging lights. I've got enough of the cord grips to go up into boxes on the ceiling. And here you see the light base that was riveted in, and there is enough room underneath. So these should become, needs more paint. These should become hanging lights for the clean room back that way. Kind of similar to what I did here, although the LED lighting selection has definitely gotten better in recent years. I don't know that I'm feeling motivated enough to go back and change these, and also these, the light bases hold the bread pans on, but makes a pretty inexpensive way to make an industrial light, or an industrial style light, I should say. So anyway, I'm adding, these are the lights that are gonna go in the dirty room, and then here are the bigger 18-inch lights, yeah, 18-inch lights. So those are gonna look really nice. And I've got all the material for it. I've got the MC, and then I always wanna say MX. Yeah, metal conduit MC. Anyway, some THHN wire. So I'll have some fun getting this all set up. All right, so this is kind of a fun one that I've been noodling on this for a while. My biggest struggle, I'm like a lot of people, I'm working by myself, and picking up things and put them down. So I would like to build a little simple cherry picker, if you will. The problem, I've got the engine hoist, I use it quite a bit. The problem is always the legs are in the way. So what I've got designed here is a concrete counterweighted, just a manual crane assembly. And so just rolling through some of the features in case it's not immediately obvious. I'm planning to use like polyurethane rollers. I'll show where I plan to salvage these from in a moment, but basically build my own caster for the rear. So you'll have swivel at the back, and then the front will be fixed. I'm showing it here with a plywood shelf, and then overall a steel frame. Let's see if I can, nope, that's all one thing. So I'm gonna zoom in on the mast here for a second. So the main mast I have, this is 3-inch by 4-inch tubing that I'm shown highlighted here. And then this is 2.5 by 2.5 tubing. And I'm hoping the weld bead will fall on one of the short sides so I can kind of hide it. But basically I'm adding these green parts here to make up the difference. But that gives me a place to sneak a cable down, because this whole head assembly, the boom, if you will, is going to be something like 85 or 90 pounds. So it's not trivial to pick this up. And then if you hang a cherry picker off the end of it. So anyway, I've got a concrete counterweight. And then if I look at a top-down view, I'm going to throw it in a wireframe for just a moment. You can see that the overall center of gravity is inside the triangle of the 3 wheels. So it's not going to be like unstable, unloaded. And then that actually will adjust. So when you're in all the way back, when the ram when everything's all the way inboard, the center of gravity is pretty close to the rear caster, but should still be pretty stable, especially when the CG is relatively low overall. All this weight up here at the top definitely doesn't help. So for the mast itself, I have 3 configurations, so that rests on the flat pin in the flat configuration, and then you just pin the rear. Then you can also do, I need to turn color back on. So here it is shown in the closest position in the flat orientation. There we go. So I didn't go through and fully constrain this yet, but there's roughly your flat, near, and then I can show this in the highest and lowest position. So right now you're as far inward as you can go. That's going to be where you're going to have the highest lifting force, or lifting capacity, which rough math, let me zoom in on this just a fuzz, with no safety factor is 2,000 pounds. So pretty substantial. The overall weight of the system I calculate out to 993 pounds. And then if we show the system at its full extension, we have 56 inches from the center line of the pin, or the center line of the front axle, to the center line, just your X dimension here. So you could reach out, a little over 4 feet over something and still have about 400 pounds capacity. So take out a little bit of that for safety factor, and also for the weight of the lifting. If you're lifting something that far out, I'd probably use something like a ratchet strap, or rather a nylon strap through a come along, where I could bring it up, over, and back down, or a chain ball also. So I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I do want to make one. You could probably stack block up or steel plates or whatever, but I think it'd be kind of fun to form this up out of melamine and fill in the corners, maybe with some sacrificial 3D prints, cast my logo into it. I know a good concrete guy, so anyway, just a fun little tidbit I thought I'd throw out there. I might see how this turns out. I'm thinking about making 1 or 2 of them. It'd be cool to have a match pair. See what the actual material costs come out to be, but if nothing else, I might just make the plans available in case somebody wants to build it, with the caveat of use at your own risk. So. I'm also kind of pumped about this new tripod that I picked up. So for reference, the old tripod was about here, so my vantage angle was always way off when I was trying to put it up on the table, but this is basically my eye level to the camera lens, so the vantage point of what we're working on or what we're looking at is going to be a lot better. That was just a random item in the last monthly industrial auction, and it came up for like $11, so nice find there. All right, I'm rambling. Let's just... Ooh, got something fun coming up. This is gonna be exciting. So that was a week. It's funny because I'm finding myself like overwhelmed with excitement because I have so many things to do that are all really exciting and fun, and I just love this shit. I tear it up. So, the few projects I just showed you, the baby crane, I'm ready to make forms and pour concrete and weld up some tubes. I want to put all the new lights up. The Trans Am wants attention. I need more time. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. Like, I just need more time. So I'm gonna keep chugging away. I was just talking to my brother about this, eating the elephant, right? You just one bite at a time. We're gonna get there. It's gonna take a minute. So I've got plenty to do. Stick around. If you made it this far, you're 1 out of 4. So thanks. And I'm at 49 subscribers, so somebody please subscribe and get me to 50. It hurts my soul that I'm not at 50. beyond that, if you have any questions, let me know. And if there's anything you want to see, or yeah, just drop a comment. Anything, good, bad. I'm curious to hear it. I'm learning every week as I do this. I'm getting better at the editing in terms of speed, maybe not in terms of quality, but I think that's enough rambling for this week. See how many times I can say and I will see you guys next week. Thanks, bye.